jungle. Like, there's so much options. So looking at the top side in jungle is not something that we really have to focus on. But coming into the bottom side, like, what are the options here? Because expectedly, as G2 Black is going for a standard at this point in time, we're in KT.RY has pretty much read how G2 Blacklist has been doing their draft in the past, what, how many games? 5 games that we've had in the series.
Yeah. They can still go for the Zoe though, which is a flexible pick for Aaron. Here in the mid lane, we saw how effective his Zoe was at one point. Okay, so G2 Blacklist is really doubling down and trying to control the jungle. The early stages of the game, and will be selecting Lee Sin for themselves, meaning Ime will be going back to one of his most impressive champions during the playoffs of last season in the Riven.
Yeah, and at the moment I'm thinking like G2 Blacklist, they still have one option, which is probably the ADC that we've had. So it could be the likes of Sivir, it could be the likes of Zoe, Zaya, Ezreal. There's just too much options here for G2B. And for the likes of KT.RY, the Darken Blade.
This is so good.
Aatrox,
a very good champion to have. Especially knowing that one of the wins of KT.RY was because Daw was unlocked on the champion, had an MVP performance just a while back, and KT.RY is not done with their surprises, bringing out the Zyra second time in the series. The first time it wasn't as effective, right? We have to remember that Zyra got controlled, did not really have the best mobility in the game, and just basically was a non-factor in game number 1. But G2 Blacklist is really going for a flexible draft overall, leaving Golden Kite to play the Corki and picking up the Vladimir for Aaron.
Yeah, and they have to switch something up. And this is what I love about the draft, right? Anything could happen. Flexibilities happen left and right. And these changes, switch-ups, can occur at any time. And Aaron going for the Vladimir, we've seen this being played out back in their game up against CES. And now it is up against KT.RY this time around. And the thing is, for KT.RY, I feel like they could utilize Zyra more at this point because of how much like front lines G2 Blacklist has. Now it's at that point we're in how they can position themselves better into this game.
Yeah. The agenda number 1 for both sides though is to not lose the early game so hard to a point that it becomes unwinnable, right? Like we saw in game number 1, we saw in game number 5 that, you know, if you gift like a 3k, 5k advantage pre 5 minutes, it's almost a GG go next angle. So now, how will both these teams play it out? So far, KT.RY has not shied away from doing very early game adjustments, going for a lane swap or delayed invades to really throw off KD in his jungle pathing. So it is all up to G2 Blacklist and trying to plan ahead and trying to deny all those early invades from Daw.
Yeah, and that's definitely a key there, right? For the winning conditions here for G2 Blacklist to bring this into a game 7. And even at this point in time, both these teams have their own early game investments, right? G2 Blacklist has the likes of Lee Sin rather for KD that could really just bring out the best of G2B in the early game. And as for KT.RY, we've seen the prowess of Luna onto the Lucian into the early game. So respect really has to be given by both sides.
And this is again the recipe for success for KT.RY. They always get the early game invades, right? Even with the Aatrox, they found the angle again this time, leaving KD to respond. And they don't have any information whatsoever that this is being done here by Daw. This is not the G2 Blacklist that we kind of saw from, you know, from a couple of games prior. And even with the rotation being done here by KD, he will definitely be spotted by the banana bush wards. But this time, G2 Blacklist will have some assistance and will be sending drawing Golden Guide here.
Luna, Zero comes through, has to force out the flash to go back under turret. And right now, you have that sauce coming right up, and Golden Kite will be the first blood to KT.RY.
And this was only made possible because of the fact that KD's jungle got invaded by Daw. They went for the risky invade and trying to equalize the buff count. The KT.RY again with the early game planning, that two-man route coming in from Acrobat was clutch, leaving Golden Kite to his own demise. And KT.RY gets the first blood once again in this game number 6.
And just being a highlight into how strong Illusion can be coming into the early game, despite, you know what, being on the hands of a professional like Luna, who has very strong control over the Lucian into the early game as well. And as you mentioned, right, the strong perspective about the Zyra is the ability to control opponents from a long range distance, and the setup coming in from 0 from there on forward with the double body slam was perfect setup for Zyra to follow up.
Another engage. Oh, okay. And Draw needed to really flash away from Zero's body slam. This is definitely not the start that you want to have if you are G2 Blacklist, but if you are a fan of KT.RY, this is again the early game advantage that you kind of want to stop the Lee Sin's impact in the early game.
Yeah, definitely is. KD rotating, going to the top side of the map, but as you mentioned, there is a ward onto the Tri-Brush, which is Retell is already aware. And even then, Camille is one of the most mobile champions as well, coming into top side of the map just because of the hookshot availability.
Yeah, and Ime trying to bait Retell into going in. And that's, again, another layer of seconds being forced away from KD. And look at what was the response here by KT.RY. Daw is already here. That if in case it will become a 2v2, Aatrox and Camille should have the upper hand.
Yeah, and right now, it's more on being a more quieter stage for G2 Blacklist, as really, as you have dictated a while ago, that really forcing out these huge risk plays. Yes, there are rewards that could be netted out from that, but it's not something that you really want up to the likes of KT.RY, given how they could optimize their snowball potential in a game.
They're really off timing right now.
Ooh.
And Ime
comes to pay a visit into the top side of the map with the World Ender. The knockup is there, and Retell just blew the finishing punch. And once again, that's the second kill of this team. But KD follows up with a Sonic Wave. You have Hero's Entrance to follow up as well, but Raw's in danger, being knocked up. There's just no escape. The CC chain from both these teams, but a 1-for-1 will be the turn of events.
KT.RY still... Whoa, KD going for a combo, but Retell still had the flash to disengage. KT.RY still has the advantage here, right? Like, that's 2 red buffs in a row that KD was not able to control. The laning advantage that KT.RY has in the mid lane and on the top lane is allowing for KT.RY to just go for multiple invades on towards the jungle of KD, allowing them to go for deep dives such as this. And this is not what you expect, or this is not the start that you want if you are G2B.
Yeah, and the microplay as well from Daw is something commendable as well. Waiting under the turret, getting that aggro as well, waiting for the top laner to go back up. Retell to go outside of the turret range before he goes out. So it's just really good overall. Micro Rift Herald now being started though by KT.RY, and G2 Blacklist wants to contest this. Package comes in into the pit as KD is looking up against Daw as well, but Draw is just pinned down towards a wall, and now Golden Kite being chased out by Retell into the top quadrant jungle. And G2 Blacklist has no more numbers to really battle up against KT.RY. Hextech Ultimatum connects onto KD, ignites as well, takes him down. Is the HP enough for sustain? Yes, it is, but how long can you live?
Yeah, Zero is still here for a potential body slam against the 2 members of G2 Blacklist. But again, KT.RY finds themselves in a very good advantage.
Daw now comes through as well. It's a 3-man rotation for KT.RY. The knockup is there. Ime is in danger, but the sidesteps are so good. And Ime still lives bot time, but Retell just follows up to finish him up.
The tower juggling from KT.RY is almost close to perfect, and no heroes enters to really provide support. G2B goes for the flank here. Golden Kite will be spotting Daw.
Has no package though, so has to use up the Valkyrie or the missile barrage, and that will be the escape there, but Golden Kite already too low. But in the end, they still get value from that.
7 kills to 2, KT.RY 4K advantage already, and Aaron is really having a hard time in dealing with the early game advantage of the Lucian. already has the executioners calling in Bloodthirster, and everything that could go right for KT.RY has gone their way.
And right now, G2 Blacklist setting up the play onto the Ocean Drake, setting up their positions as well. They have the initial touchdown onto the Ocean Drake, but Daw is also there above the Dragon's Pit. Could just jump in at any moment's time. Draw by the Shield of Durant connects onto Zero. The calling is there. KD is too low already. Explosive cast followed up, but exit ultimatum. The kick was phenomenal to be able to push back Ratel as G2 Blacklist secures the Ocean Drake, but KT.RY is on the chase. Daw and Zero is dealt with Ratel going for the flank. Shield of Durant to buy time. The knockup is there, but Draw is in danger. He has to run, he has to walk away, and that will be enough to really just save himself. No kills for KT.RY.
Yeah, but that was so close for comfort. Now Aaron can just get pinched on by Ratel.
In danger. Getting locked upon by two members by KT.RY, but one Sanguine Pull saved his life in trade for a turret.
That was a 4v5, taking that tower here in the bottom lane, and on the top lane, KT.RY with a net positive. Yeah, sure, they gave away the dragon, but G2 Blacklist just is in a big hole right now. Infinity, KT.RY knows that they are at the advantage, and they know that they are one win away from securing their finals berth, and they don't want to let go.
Yeah, it's just that KT.RY thus far coming into the prior games have been picture perfect as well when it comes to these macro games. Like KT.RY coming into the prior game, and even this, they always find value.
The communication as well from G2 Blacklist is not as crisp as what we've seen them in their wins, and you have to give credit to KT.RY. They have been a very formidable team to a point that G2 Blacklist is having a hard time to answer all the aggressions from KT.RY. And look at Zero.
Oh, face checks. G2 Blacklist still there. Just a sponge to go back to safety. KT.RY slowly creeping themselves up on top side of the map, but it's a 4v4 situation.
Yeah, no team fight as of the moment, but draw.
Shield of Durand, a little bit overextending coming in from that. A little bit too close, but draw still lives.
Yeah, Aaron has been non-impactful in a non-factor so far, right? Like no team fights whatsoever. They really feel the impact of this Vladimir. And how many times have we seen this, right? KT.RY winning. It was because of Ratel. It is because of Ratel. And you look at Ratel's record right now, I believe he is up to 4-1-2 in terms of his KDA. And in 9 minutes, all of a sudden, KT.RY is enjoying an 8k goal lead. What a performance so far, and what a way to to just basically cement their status as the #1 team from APAC.
Yeah, 8k gold lead. That's like a 1k gold advantage per minute. Yes, it's a little bit lower than that, but for the sake of rounding down that number, it's just a massive of gold lead that KT.RY is netting themselves upon every single second of the game, and that is what KT.RY has been doing over the past few games that we've had, is always looking for those values being traded. And yes, G2 Blacklist, you can get the dragon, you can get whatever objective that you want, but we're gonna look for something else to trade it.
There will always be a trade up for KT.RY. Oh,
Dragon's Rage connecting onto one. Luna gets deleted. This will be a really good situation for them, but Acrobat goes in for the grasp. There's just no escape, and Zero will be the next target as Aaron follows through. And that will be another kill for G2B.
It was a 2-for-1, at least something positive for G2 Blacklist. We are seeing they needed like multiple members to even get a pick. KD's relevance is really out of the window right now. You see that the combo against one of the most squishy members in Luna was perfect, right? Like, we're able to at least get one kill, but there to retaliate is Acrobat. That hold, the amount of damage that is available to the Zyra still needs to be respected. And although, yeah, in the end, Aaron was able to get a kill, it's not enough. It's not enough. It's definitely not enough, especially with the goal lead that KT.RY has right now.
Yeah, and it's definitely something that G2 Blacklist really just have to look into perspective. Like, we did it.
Alongside us, I will say that the draft is okay, right? This is a draft that G2 Blacklist was able to win against other top teams as well. But when it comes to their execution, it's far from what we are accustomed in seeing from G2 Blacklist. But for KT.RY, it's the entire opposite. It's a complete opposite. They're enjoying a very early game lead, and they are the type of team that never looks back when ahead.
Yeah, and given the disadvantage as well that G2 Black is currently facing, Corki has to force to buy the crown first. More defensive items first before they go for damage, just because of the need for it, right? And that just...
Another tower.
Yeah, that just needs more time for G2B now to be able to really, really ramp up.
From the early game invades to the early game team fight wins by KT.RY. What is there left to do for G2 Blacklist to come back into this game? Even the package is being used defensively to defend the waves here in the mid lane, and your G2 Blacklist, you're definitely feeling the pressure. Aaron
already having the two-man gank for KT.RY into the bottom side of the map. Aaron is in danger, but as always, the Sang and Pull is something that you could just go in and out of fights.
Yeah, I was looking at the camera work, right? Like they're expecting Draw to at least have the Euros entrance to provide support to the Vladimir, which is pretty much a self-sustaining champion. Zero.
Oh, unforeseen! That will be a surprise attack for G2 Blacklist. Already down low for Acrobat. Has to force out a flash to be able to retreat, but still alive for Zero and Acrobat. No value taken.
Yeah, that was the perfect initiation coming in from Draw and company, but again, the goal lead that KT.RY has right now, allowing them access to the Stasis Enchant this early, allowed for that survival to happen.
Aaron stuck against Luna with a culling waiting for him when he comes back up on his Sanguine Pull.
He's a man on a mission right now, Infinity, I tell you, right? Like, how many times have we seen KT.RY fall to the hands of G2 Blacklist? And that's another kill! That again is Luna!
That's really unfortunate because the thing is, G2 Blacklist, this is the moment where the jungler is most important. With the Baron already being started by KT.RY, and now it's Rettel just zoning away the members of G2B in hopes to get that steal. But with a smite availability, KT.RY gets the Baron for themselves.
Drawing company being forced back to back away by Rettel.
Too tanky. Will still be able to really buy a lot of time here, but G2 Blacklist will be able to get that shutdown onto Rettel.
The only positive that G2 Blacklist was able to get was the shutdown gold. Let's look at that replay once again. This is the first kill by Luna. And that's an easy flash in into the execute against Aaron. But what happened here was even KT fell victim to Luna. That's a 2-level advantage, by the way.
Yeah,
oh no, he
level
got guided.
11 versus level 13. It's just a massive, massive advantage overall. That's a couple of stats through that really scales in a 1v1 fight.
And it's pretty much unwinnable now for G2 Blacklist. They need a miracle team fight similar to what happened when they faced against Cerberus Esports. But KT.RY is definitely not going to allow that to happen. They will play this methodical. They will play this as fundamental as they can to really secure this Game 6 victory.
And now Luna going to start up the calling. Explosive cast isolates Draw. There will be one man down for G2B. Leaves 4 members up for G2 Blacklist.
KT.RY not yet done. Will transition over to the mid lane and will knock onto the...
Luna!
Oh my god!
Just jumps over the wall, deletes Corki!
Linkai was out of the picture right away. The burst from Luna is just superior right now.
KT.RY is now looking to end this game. The rivalry of APAC decided coming into the series, and KT.RY looking to end the rivalry here and now. The Nexus will fall down to a bit. Dragon's Rage will be a good delay, and KT.RY will be pushed back.
They will be backing away. G2 Blacklist lives for another day. We'll have another opportunity to go at it. But surely G2 Blacklist is feeling the pressure right now. You look at the goal lead here in the mid lane. 3.6k advantage in favor of Luna. 1.6k advantage on the top side. And even the Zyra is definitely having a party right now. All across the board. KT.RY is at the advantage.
Yeah, and this is clever for KT.RY. Like, they do not want to force that engage, given that 15 seconds right after, Elder Drake will spawn.
Yeah. It's the situation in where G2 Blacklist was able to find himself in a miraculous comeback, come from behind victory against Cerberus Esports. And KT.RY knows better, right? They're going to shut down all the chances of a potential comeback from G2 Blacklist. They will not allow them any inch, any opening whatsoever.
Yeah, we'll see. As right now, KT.RY is still on a mission going into the bottom lane. Once the last standing inhibitor left into this game, but Elder Drake, oh wow, rather the dragon has been secured by KT.RY coming into this, which gives him a little bit more advantage into this fight.
Yeah, the only thing positive is that it's not the Dragon Soul that could have been the biggest factor, considering, you know, the amount of lead that KT.RY has right now. It's just easy picking. They're going very methodical, and they will still go for another objective here, potentially the Baron, and have it as the game-winning objective of this Game 6.
Definitely is. And now KT.RY could still hold their positions here. Wait for time before G2 Blacklist could really just make a mistake and make a misstep. If ever that happens, KT.RY could pounce on the opportunity.
Right. The only way that G2 Blacklist delays this game further is if they get a decisive teamfight win over at the Baron. And we've seen comebacks come from behind wins off of a very beautiful teamfight win in the Baron pit, right? Like, an ace plus a Baron often decides the game just because of how squishy the towers are in the game, but KT.RY is having none of that and is just going to play this as methodical as possible here in Fiji.
Yeah, and one more team fight could end the game. The thing is, KT.RY could just hold fort, not force out the Baron or the Elder Drake, to not give an opportunity for G2 Blacklist to gain that miraculous steal. And now they get Luna with that Shield of the Red. Huge chunk of damage already removed. Da is already going in with the ultimate, a lot of sustainability. And KT won't be the target here, but will still be alive. Da is down low. If they remove Da, G2 Blacklist could turn tables. And now Acrobat is down. Rattel has to go back to retreat on the right quadrant jungle. And G2 Blacklist is still on a 5-man complete squad.
The perfect team fight needed here by G2 Blacklist. Now they are in the position to go for the Elder Dragon, but Rattel is knocking on towards the inhibitor tower in the bot lane.
They have to send someone coming into the bot side of the map as Rattel is going in for the push. If this opens up, there's so much priority going into the side of KT.RY with a huge wave as well coming into the top side of the map. And it's Rattel really just getting that macro game, but G2 Blacklist secures the Elder Drake in their favor.
Elder Dragon goes over to G2 Blacklist, trying to extend this series into a game number 7. Finding that miracle team fight is draw. One caveat though, Infinity, that inhibitor tower in the bot lane got destroyed past 18 minutes. It will never respawn. And KT.RY does know that for a fact. And the idea here for KT.RY is to deny any potential team fight. The Elder Dragon is definitely going to be a win condition for G2 Blacklist. They want to fight right here, right now, with the advantage of the execution breath. And you did see the timer, right? The inhibitor is about to spawn up in the top lane and in the mid lane. And again, miraculous team fight once again by G2B.
Yeah, that could be the opening for G2 Blacklist, because the thing is, no inhibs would really state the death of them coming through, and now the inhibs going back up will be an opening for G2B to really force out the issue here. Elder Drake is on a timer, already half when it comes to the whole duration of it.
And they're trying to deny Ime out of the equation by forcing Rattel to have that hull breaker advantage here in the bottom lane. KD here,
Aaron.
Okay.
That was so close. Now Da will be seen. Gets information for G2 Blacklist. Hero's entrance already used.
And that's a big utility. They also know that Golden Kite does have the package available. And if you're KT.RY, no reason to engage against a team that has the Elder Dragon buff, right? That's the noob mistake that we often see in our ranked games. You won't be able to win a team fight against the Elder Dragon buff, and KT.RY is just about burning the buff.
Yeah, they have level advantage, they have item advantage, they pretty much have all tier 1 turrets available for them, an exception the top lane. Aaron already down low, Sangunpo coming into that fight. Daw has to use up the World Ender to really just sustain himself, but Daw will be the target. And look at Rattel already onto the Nexus, Inhibs will be the target here. G2 Blacklist has to come back to be able to save itself from the grasp of Rattel.
36 HP. This inhibitor, once it gets destroyed, it permanently leaves the map. And KT.RY is just content in having Rattel finish the job for them.
Once again, the macro level that KT.RY is doing coming into this game is just really impressive, to say the least. And now Draw comes in with a Justice Punch, but so much CC comes through, and now the culling as well melts down the HP of Draw. But KD coming into the backside with the Dragon's Rage, knocks up onto Luna. Stasis for KD, bot time, and that will make him still be alive. And Daw is gone, and now KD goes in with a Sonic Wave as Rattel is the last standing member coming into the top side of the map in hopes to get that inhib. And now G2 Blacklist takes the Baron Laner's life of KT.RY.
The top lane tower, 700 health, and KT.RY knows that it's the only objective stopping them from securing a victory. KT.RY will be backing away. G2 Blacklist still at it and is still punching themselves through. You look at the goal lead, it's 0, it's nada.
It's nothing in existence from this game. There's hope for G2 Blacklist to make it back, but they need a picture-perfect run from here on out. Baron will be started. TPs are coming through already. The calling will delete Aaron, and that will leave 4 members left for the side of G2 Blacklist, and Draw will be removed as well. It's going to be a 3v5. Baron will be secured, but KT.RY doesn't want to give any Baron buff left for G2B, and Ime will just have to run as KT.RY will get the ace. The rivalries has been decided, and KT.RY will win up against G2B, and they will be the first one to qualify for the finals.
The number 1 team from APAC is from the KR region. KT.RY on top, ending the reign of G2 Blacklist and pushing them down to the lower bracket.